YouTube's all good. Looks like it's good.
Cool.
Cool. Man. Well, let's hope that thing doesn't ring like crazy. All right, you want to lead us in?
No, not really. My mind just blanked out right now because I'm like waiting for the thing to pop up. So.
Oh, that's right. I need to get it up. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the aptly named Haph-Ast podcast. I am one of the hosts, Carlos Ramirez.
I'm the other host. Well, sorry to cut you off. I'm the other host, Joaquin Cuellar.
Phoenix. Oh goodness. I am seeing things on my Instagram that are hilarious. There was a picture of the black hole, and then it's just Joe Biden right behind me.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh no. Anyways.
I'm not seeing it pop up.
Okay, no problem. But yeah. So as you can tell from the title, we're gonna be talking about quite a bit of few like things in regards to the black hole.
What did we end up calling it?
Some movies. I put something black hole debunked. I don't remember. I just added like a whole bunch of stuff because I knew we were going to talk about that stuff. So I just found a way to throw it all in there. Like, I'm not really trying to make it the best title. It's just a title.
A title.
It's interesting. Mostly because debunking videos are a thing. So I was like, yeah, just throw that in the title and see what happens. But hopefully we have some more people watching this time around because we seem to have a lot of people that stop by, lurk, and then leave. So hopefully we get some people in the chat talking about what we're talking about, see what they have to say in regards to the topics, because we are going to talk about a few things that came out recently and see what we think about it, see what you guys think about it, and just do that. Okay, here we go. Perfect. You on? You're watching?
I'm watching, but I got a black screen on my end, so.
Oh, let me check then.
Technical difficulties.
Oh, no.
We're new. We suck. Let's go. Yeah. Black hole sun. Won't you come?
Black hole sun. Okay, yeah.
Was this a thing? Like, did I just not know about this? That they were, like, trying to look at a black hole or something?
I think it's been a thing for a while. I know there's been mostly speculation in terms of the scientific community and how all this stuff would come about. I know there's actually quite a bit that came out from Interstellar in terms of workings of black hole and what they thought it would look like, because they actually had to.
Wasn't that a thing where they like brought in a bunch of like scientists or whatever, and 'cause at the time there wasn't like a definitive look of a black hole.
Yeah, which is mostly why like I forgot what exactly they won for it, but I know because they wanted to show one on screen, they had to essentially go with the science on what it was going to look like. And so I think in doing so, they learned a little more about black holes, which is kind of interesting. And this actually reminds me of that one theorem that came up with in Futurama. There was a theorem about switching people's bodies, like their heads and their bodies. As long as you have one extra person, you can switch everybody back if people get mixed up. It was really weird, but it was something that actually came out of the show, and it's a thing now. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff like that, but the one from Interstellar always impresses me because they kind of did a lot more science than I think people realize in the movie. There's a lot of stuff.
I need to go back and rewatch that one. That one's been a while since I actually. I think since maybe theaters actually.
I think I enjoy the science behind the movie rather than the movie itself.
It gets, I wouldn't say far fetched by the end, but like the whole the what was it, the whole ghost thing where like the time, space and time was like all over the place.
Those parts they showed throughout the movie, though, right?
They teased that at the beginning. So when he's like behind the bookshelf.
Because I remember while that was going on screen, I was like, okay, something's gonna come of this, and it's I don't know if it was gonna be convincing or satisfying, and it really wasn't for me.
No.
That's why I said I like the science behind the movie and like all the stuff that they were doing with the ships and the travel and the whole black hole thing. The black hole was cool.
Yeah.
And then the memes that came out of the movie.
The big one was him sitting there watching the monitor of his like when he ends up on that one planet where where time is like rapidly going by or whatever, and then when he comes back up, it was what, like 15 or 20 years or something
like that. It was an extended period of time. But
so he sees his like children grow up in front of his eyes.
That's the one that's always used though, because it's like, oh, this movie's coming out in like 10 years. Like, we'll wait here. That's so dumb. But so the black hole obviously is what we're touching on.
Yeah.
But the thing that you brought up beforehand was the whole Event Horizon thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sam Neill tweeted about Event Horizon.
Yeah, you can actually see in the thumbnail we have the Sam Neill tweet where he's basically saying, "Been there, done that," in regarding the black hole.
So if you guys haven't seen Event Horizon, you guys should see Event Horizon. Off the back of this picture that's been taken of a black hole, that does spoil a slight bit about the movie, because it's not really given.
No, I wouldn't
in
say
the beginning.
What did they basically make a portal like I wish I had a piece of paper in front of me, but say this, well, flat surface, and what's the fastest way from point A to point B, and instead of going on a straight line, they decide to fold them together, and A and B connect.
They wormhole it.
And it's the wormhole, so
the cornhole.
The
Barstool love that term so much; it's ridiculous.
Cornhole.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So they basically did they make a portal? I thought they just went through a black hole and they were like, "We're gonna see where this goes."
They basically go through it, but essentially by them going through it, they open up. It's basically Doom.
Yeah. So it's an expedition through the black hole. They want to see where it goes. The ship disappears, and then like 14 years later, it reappears, and it's silent.
No, I don't even think it's their. Oh yeah. Well, because they're a rescue. I think they're a rescue ship.
The second one, yeah.
The second one, and they go over there, and I guess what. I really need to rewatch this movie.
Yeah, last time I saw the movie was about maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
I have like the general like sense of what the movie was, but now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, well, what the hell is that big spinning thing with the room with the spikes and whatnot? Yeah. And
there's a lot of crazy stuff in the movie. But if you guys haven't seen the movie, you guys should definitely check it out. It's worth a watch, especially if you can't figure out anything to watch, which is like the problem nowadays. But aside from that,
I think it's on like Amazon Prime or something too. So
I'm gonna have to look that up. But you actually brought another physical copy.
Oh yeah. So on, I forgot what day I went to go see it.
This week or last week?
This past weekend.
Oh, okay.
I actually went to go watch the remake or the second adaptation of Pet Semetary. Mm-hmm. Going in, I had some gripes already with the movie. And I wouldn't so much as say it's a spoiler unless you haven't seen any trailers and or promotion for the movie.
Yeah.
But if you know the general plot of the movie, where one of the main character, Lewis, his children, gets hit by a semi.
Yeah.
And the way he brings them back is he buries them in this old Indian burial ground known as getting too into detail, but basically the Pet Semetary is where he buries it. And this time around, instead of it being his 3-year-old son, they change it to his 9-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. And the creepy kid thing's been it's been played out. We just had the Prodigy movie earlier this year.
Yeah.
Name any other movie, Orphan, there's too many to count. But yeah, so I had my issues with that going in. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I like the change. Would that have been like such a, you know, big twist to see, you know, thinking that the son's gonna get got and instead it's the daughter.
Yeah.
And so I went in kind of already with this bias.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go in with that, but it's
kind of inevitable.
Yeah, it was kind of inevitable, and I don't want to blame the directors, or I honestly I think it's the marketing that probably did that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to go in and see, like, that probably would have surprised the heck out of me seeing that. But
yeah.
So overall with the movie, I think the change was for the better.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, when the son comes back, he's 3 years old and he's speaking almost like perfect English, and he's well spoken, and
yeah,
it's almost like he's like, you know, a full adult inside this, you know, child's body, but, you know, demented or whatever the you want to call him. But it makes a lot of sense with the daughter coming back, because they touch up on a lot of things regarding, like, in the original movie, I don't know if you remember, but when her cat dies,
yeah,
she's basically saying, like, why does God have to take my cat? Mm-hmm. He should, you know, take one of his or someone else's or something like that. And she brings up talk of the afterlife.
Yeah.
What comes after death?
Yeah.
So with this 2019 version, her, you know, coming back, now she knows there is no after.
Okay.
So, and there is a reason why she's upset. It's not just her coming back and being different as the book says or the previous movie was. Mm-hmm. She comes back and she's pissed because her family lied to her. Her parents lied to her. And it tackles I didn't really think much about that until after until after the movie. I literally walked out of the movie upset.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, is it because of the subject matter, or is it because the movie itself?
No, it was more or less the movie.
Okay.
And I think I just put all these, like, what's the word? All these expectations.
Oh, okay.
On it, and it didn't deliver what I was expecting or wanted.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think that's for the better, because I, you know, went home and watched the original, and it's kind of a dated movie. Yeah. There are things in there that, you know, I really wish I thought that the daughter in the new movie was kind of annoying. And it was just like the delivery of some of the lines were great, but I feel like the delivery. Yeah. But then I rewatched this one and I was like, oh, I don't even know how I feel about that. Like, I think we got a big upgrade in comparison to the original.
So do you think the new one would have been better, or you would have liked it more if, like you said, the delivery was better and just the little things, I guess you can nitpick, were smoothed out? Or do you think overall it's just an entirely different movie that you'd rather not see it?
I think initially I thought it was just an overall different movie that I didn't want to see again.
Okay.
But, you know, after I gave it some time to, like, you know, I stewed on the whole thought of the movie. I gave it time. I didn't want to just flat out say, oh, I didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
It grew on me, and I've been thinking about it. Like I said, I actually just watched the original again this morning just to so we can talk about this. But I feel like I overall prefer the remake compared to the original.
Okay.
And
Is there any particular reason why? Or is it just because watching the old one again, it's more dated than you expected?
I think it was that. I think it felt just too dated for me.
Okay.
And it's good, you know. I mean, obviously we got like a, you know, what's the word? A modern day adaptation of it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, obviously sometimes new is better. Jokes, so maybe, you know, dead is better, like the old one. But
yeah, I think certain things can be better or made better.
Yeah,
because this actually ties into what somebody else was talking about earlier, was the whole Lion King movie.
Oh yeah,
it was like the new one doesn't really. I don't really know because I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
The only live action one that I've seen in terms of Disney remakes is the Jungle Book one. But none of them, like, didn't do anything drastically different. It's just like an updated version.
Yeah, like it doesn't try to like reinvent the wheel or. Yeah. It kind of sticks to what it like the source material essentially. Yeah. Thinking back on the new Pet Semetary, mm-hmm. You know, aside from the fact that they do change the, you know, essentially the antagonist of the movie,
yeah, into
the daughter, mm-hmm. they shied away from certain things that the original, you know, I felt I loved about the original. Mm. And I don't know if you remember much or of the original, but there was the character named Zelda. Mm-hmm. She was the sister of the wife Rachel, and she was she had like I don't think they even really say, but she was just sick, and she had like her body looked twisted and contorted. Yeah, and when the wife was younger, she was terrified of her, and she ended up dying, but she had this constant fear of her daughter, her sister. Mm-hmm. And in this one, they more or less tease Zelda instead of flat out show her. And they use her in the sense of ultimately the movies are about loss. Yeah. And the original didn't really give much of. I mean, I personally think that it didn't really give the wife character, the actress, much to work with. Okay. And in this one, she's a much more prominent character. Okay. And it does give me something with her character that the original one didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Now, with the comparison you have now, watching the new one and then watching the old one again yesterday, you said?
Yeah, I watched Pet Semetary Saturday morning, mm-hmm. the remake. Yeah. And then later that evening, I watched the original again. And then this morning, I actually just rewatched the original as well.
Okay. Would you watch the new one again?
Yeah, I actually would.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see the new one, especially from what you just said in terms of like the new stuff that they did. I find that interesting, and it makes me want to watch it. Me and my brother, like, he was talking right before this. Like, we saw Pet Semetary in Mexico because for some reason our Mexican cousins like to show us all the scary movies. And I don't remember much of it. Like, I almost don't remember any of it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I would have to go back and watch the original, mm-hmm. which if it feels dated, it's an old movie, so it's what's expected. The new one, I actually know less about the new one. Like, I don't know who's behind it, who wrote it, who directed. And I don't even remember who's in it because I haven't really paid attention to that one, actually.
Jason Clarke, he's the lead this time around. Jason Clarke he played John Connor in Terminator Genisys. He was the lead human in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the one that was helping Caesar.
Yeah, okay. Looks like somebody said something in the chat.
Yeah, it's actually
Mike.
I was gonna bring him up right now. He says would have liked a little better if it was the little boy rather than the little girl.
Oh, this is a question for you. Would you have liked it?
Oh, okay.
A little better if it was a little boy.
I thought he said. Okay, I just read that wrong.
Do you think the gender matters or the age matters?
I don't think the. Well, getting back to like I mentioned just earlier, like in the original, the little boy, he's 3 years old, and you know obviously there's can't really get much lines out of a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I mean I think the severity of that loss is more of how young they are.
Yeah, so I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, because
hold on to that thought because
because this brings up like so many other things.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, we'll get back to that. So the little boy in the original, he more or less is he's having fun when he comes back, and he's playing with the family.
Yeah.
He's playing with them and he's being charming, and that's how he's getting under their skin. That's how he's getting in their head. Mm-hmm. In this one, in the 2019 one, the daughter Ellie is systematically breaking them down before she gets to them. She's getting in their head and she's tearing their thoughts apart. She's putting all this guilt that they have already. She's bringing it all up and she's throwing it in their face, and it's making it nasty.
See, that sounds way more interesting.
And deep down, yeah, I really would have just maybe liked if it was the little boy again. Mm-hmm. But overall, I do appreciate the fact that they changed it.
Yeah.
My thing is, I just really, really wish that it was a surprise when it happened.
Oh, okay.
Because, and I don't want to spoil anything, but they flat out like start teasing you that it's going to be the little boy again. And I was already, like kind of jumping in my seat, like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is marketing at its finest. They're throwing us for a loop.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen. And I wasn't upset about it. I was, like, I accepted it.
Yeah. You didn't feel like it was that much of a twist, though?
No.
Okay, yeah.
But, I mean, you go back and you watch the original trailer for the 89, 90 version.
Yeah.
They flat out show you that it's the little boy, in there, too. And I think that's just how movies work. It's part of the story. It's something that happens in the story to lead to the events that overall happen in the movie.
Yeah. And
the change does work for me.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, because it seems like a superficial change on my part, but I think more of the actions of the girl when she comes back and the way she interacts with the family is much more interesting to me than the fact that it's a little girl rather than a little boy. And she's 9 rather than just 3. That I find more interesting. I think you can get a lot more out of that.
There's some moments in there that there's a connection with, the father and the daughter. Like, I mean, obviously they're, his love for his child, but there's some moments that, like, it's supposed to be like a tender moment, but she's dead. Yeah. So the fact that he's like, tending to her and trying to, be there for her, as she's, come back. Yeah. And she's asking more questions. It leads to a lot of like interesting things. And that was the stuff I really wanted, like more of like flesh, more flushed out or, touched up on maybe some more. It's fine. It's not, bad or anything, but I just would have liked to see more of it.
Okay. Yeah. Do you feel like it was too short of a movie, or is
No, it
just
actually.
fine?
Okay, so I think both of them are around the same runtime.
Okay.
One of them, the new ones, I believe, a little over 2 hours.
Okay.
And I want to say the original is just about the same length.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it, the actual run times in front of me, but
is anybody
it's
else
about an hour 43.
in the chat?
We got 4 people watching.
Nice.
Hello. But,
hello, everybody. Welcome to the Haph-Ast podcast.
Oh, we lost someone.
Oh, no.
That's all right.
Fail. Anyways, so yeah, I need to watch that one then.
Yeah. But you were talking about the whole loss or the impact of that.
So this brings up another movie in my mind. And this movie threw me for a loop a little bit. It does involve a lot of loss, but I don't feel like that's the primary theme of the movie. But Hereditary.
Oh, yeah.
There is quite a bit of loss in that movie. And I think in one particular scene, it does show the effects.
Okay, so
like the upfront immediate effects, which that it was rough to watch.
Yeah, that scene in Hereditary messed me up. It felt, the movie goes in some dark places.
Yeah,
and it tackles, some
dark stuff,
some very dark stuff. But
yeah,
one of the things that stuck to me the most wasn't the horror, the gore, or the scream, the jump scares, or the essentially what makes it a horror film. That wasn't what stuck to me. It was the reaction, and it was her reaction and of loss. Like,
yeah, it got wild.
Okay, so
if you haven't seen Hereditary, it's actually
that's probably one of my favorite movies of last.
It was of all the movies I saw last year, that one stuck out so much that I ended up watching it. I don't know how many times, and then I showed my girlfriend, and then she was like, "This is crazy." But if you guys want to and have Amazon Prime, you guys can actually watch it for free on Prime, which you definitely should
make time.
Make time. But yeah, so that movie starts out basically with a family. The wife, her mother just died, and they're having the funeral. It actually opens up with her obituary, which is...
That was something I totally forgot too. That was something very, very interesting.
Okay, so I don't know how you are when you typically watch a movie and you're like, oh, this movie's cool. Like, what else can I look up about this movie? Because I know, like, if there's a movie I want to watch, there's usually some people on YouTube where I'll see what they have to say about the movie without talking about the movie. Like, what happens in it, just like their overall view, like whether it was good, whether it was not that good, whether it's worth it to watch it. This one I went in completely blind. I was over at Zach's house. Me, Zach, and Steven, we were just like, yeah, you should watch this movie, Carlos. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. And I was like, sure, I'll watch it. I remember watching like half the trailer, and I was completely just blindsided by that movie.
I wish I could have seen like
insane.
Sven and like Steven and Zach watching that, because
Steven, okay, it's fun watching movies with them. And if ever I'm watching a movie with Zach, we cannot be serious. But despite me and him joking in the background to that movie, I was just completely glued to it. And all the parts that were serious enough to pay attention to, we were just like, okay, we need to watch this. And then afterwards, we were like, okay, making our little jokes. But that's just how we watch movies, me and him. But yeah, Steven was like flipping out at certain times. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I could see him.
It was hilarious.
I like watching a serious or like crazy movie with Steven, because he's
Dude, so we saw. Is it Syriana? The one with
Clooney?
No, okay, no, it wasn't Syriana. It was the oh my gosh, the Eric Bana one. The Israeli
Munich?
Munich,
Dude,
there you go.
Oh my gosh.
We saw that one and oh my god, he wanted to like walk out of the house, the scene with the little girl.
I actually just rewatched Munich like 2 days ago.
Oh my goodness.
That movie freaking rules.
Dude, he was like after the scene was done and after everything was fine with the little girl, he's like, okay, I can unclench my butt cheeks now. I was like, he was asking me the entire time, Carlos, does she die? Does she die? It's like, dude, watch the movie and find out.
That scene when they're like, when I think it's Carrie Hines and he's on the phone and he hears her voice and they just full on sprint out of there, dude. That is some intense stuff.
That's a good movie. I like that movie a lot.
You actually brought up something a few weeks ago where we're talking about like I think genres.
Okay, yeah.
Of like those like spy movies.
There's certain conversations we seem to have multiple times throughout the year. And that was
after I start, was midway through Munich, I was thinking to myself like, this isn't so much a spy movie, but this very much feels like one of those movies.
Yeah.
Dude, the Jews rule.
The Jews rule.
That movie goes hard.
Goodness.
I forgot how crazy it was.
Yeah, I forgot that one dude was in the movie too. He plays a Bond villain. The French guy.
The Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his character's name was Louis.
Yeah.
He was the one feeding him the information.
Yeah, that guy was always fun to watch in movies. But that guy, he did a good job in that movie.
The scene where his papa asks him to meet Eric Bana's character.
And
he looks at his hands and he says, "Oh, you have butcher's hands. You want to be a cook, but you're the butcher." Dude, that was some heavy stuff. Like,
okay, this has nothing to do with that. But speaking of watching movies with Sven, it goes to that scene where he's with his wife. He finally comes back and he's like thinking about all the stuff that happened while he's in bed with her.
Oh, and he's like hulking out on her.
Yeah. It was like, Sven was like, man, this is intense. And then like once he's done, he's like, I've been doing it wrong this entire time.
You start thinking about those 70s Olympics, man.
Yeah. It's like, think about all those dudes getting shot. That was his best line.
Dude. There's just so much like sweat and it looks like a crazy Nike commercial. It's insane, dude.
It's got the Gatorade coming out.
It was just green.
See, that's another movie. What have we talked about so far? Event Horizon. Pet Semetary.
The old and new one. And
Hereditary. And now Munich. I can't even.
We're all over the place with the genres, man.
Yeah, I know. Another movie though that I just watched the trailer over again was Joker.
I need to rewatch that trailer. Actually,
I was watching it again specifically to see if I could like spot anything else that I didn't the first time around. The only thing I could really see was the time period where it's basically set, because I thought it was just regular like modern day. Like it didn't look modern day, so I was like, okay, I missed something the first time. So what else am I missing?
From what I remember from the trailer, one of the big things that kind of like stuck with me was him putting the smile on the face of the little boy.
Yeah.
I really hope that kid is Bruce Wayne, dude.
That's what I thought the first time I saw the trailer.
Some crazy stuff.
That I thought the first time, and then in the trailer, I don't know how much it shows in terms of characters, but it does like stay on a few different people. That if you know much of like the comics or the older movies, like they don't look like anyone specific I can think of.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much they're tying into like all the comics and everything. Because the only one I could think of was, oh shoot, who was it? Yeah, no, see, I didn't see like a Jim Gordon or anything.
The characters that are in there, Alfred Pennyworth, Thomas Wayne, Penny Fleck.
Thomas Wayne, okay.
His name is Arthur. Okay, so Joker's Arthur Fleck / Joker.
Yeah.
Young Bruce Wayne.
I think it is.
It's gotta be Bruce, dude.
I don't see why not. Which it's basically it's probably gonna be like after his parents got killed, and he's like, "Why so serious?"
What's his name? Robert De Niro is in this movie. I think he's a politician.
Okay, because it looked like there was a politician, and then either a politician on some sort of late night show or a late night host.
Yeah. So when I first watched that trailer, and this was the only time I watched that trailer, I was getting some serious Taxi Driver vibes from it. And I don't know if you've ever seen Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. But it's essentially him. It's his it's this meditative movie and like this guy's basically transformation into this vigilante. I guess that's the word for him, but
yeah,
it feels like this movie's gonna do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think I said it looked similar, but I think it's going in a different route almost. Like it feels very prequel to V for Vendetta for me.
Yeah,
from the trailer alone. What happened?
Todd Phillips, the director.
Oh, okay. I was like, is there something on your computer?
Do you know who or what he's done?
Off the top of my head, no.
He's responsible for Road Trip, Old School, The Hangover.
The scariest movies I can think of.
He's,
serious movies.
Due Date, like, did he do all the Hangover films? 1,
Dramas.
2, and 3? He doesn't really do a lot of Starsky and Hutch.
Political satire.
School for Scoundrels.
Did I see that? I think I may have seen that.
And, oh man, I forgot he's doing that too. He's doing a Hulk Hogan biopic starring Chris Hemsworth. Which might be the most generous casting I've ever seen in my life.
Ooh, yeah. yeah. That's funny.
But dude, like, that's. Oh, he made War Dogs, dude. I mean, I guess that could be considered serious.
Which one's War Dogs?
It's with Jonah Hill and
Oh yeah. Okay.
What's the other? The Whiplash guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about now.
I don't know. That guy looks like he's like 18 years old forever or something. But where's I going with that? Yeah, I'm. The tone of the Joker. This movie, it feels like it's gonna be, obviously dark and grim, and I don't know, like obviously he's, got to crack some jokes here or there, but I don't know if like that's gonna be something I'm gonna, if that's gonna be in the back of my mind, like this guy is responsible for like Will Ferrell running through the quad streaking kind of movies.
Yeah, because like the trailer feels very Dark Knight to me, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And watching the trailer again, the colors of footage it's saturated.
Yeah.
Like it's very, there are like the blue and green moments where it's like, oh, it looks dark.
It looks like it almost reminds me of the way they toned out Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
How it gives it that like yellow hue
Yeah, the footage didn't look very yellow to me, but it does look like very hued.
Like, yeah.
So
Kinda
I was
weird.
like that. It feels weird watching dark things going on with that color. So it feels kind of weird to me, but I have a feeling that has to do with both the themes and what actually happens in the movie, which I'm really looking forward to because it's been talked about for a long time, like having a Joker movie. This I find interesting, and not only that, we're finally getting one, and it's Joaquin Phoenix. Like, what has he done in like a long? What was the last thing he did?
The Master, I believe, or
I
no,
didn't see that one.
You were. I think it was called "You Were Never Really Here." Have you seen that one?
Oh,
It was
I
like
think I've
him
heard of that
going
one, yeah.
full like old boy, basically.
Oh, yeah, we think we talked about that one. But for all the things he's done, like this seems out there for everything I've seen him play. Because every time I think about him,
he did do that weird thing. Remember when he was on Letterman, and there was that whole fake documentary that he shot.
oh no,
called
no.
I'm still here or I'm not there or something.
Oh, see, whenever I think Joaquin Phoenix, the first thing that comes to mind is Signs, because that was like the main thing. And then I just laugh, and then I think, what is it, Ring of Fire, when he plays Johnny Cash.
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line. Pff, I'm all thinking of actual songs. And then the last thing that comes to mind is Her.
No love for Commodus and Gladiator.
No, because I always think of Russell Crowe when I think of that movie. I don't think about him because
I always say that part where he's just like, like all pissed off.
I like when he gets stabbed.
Oh yeah,
but this is mostly me. But when I think of Joaquin Phoenix, that's usually what my mind goes to. And I mean, it's probably the same thing like with Heath Ledger. Like, I don't think anybody really expected that from him.
No, I didn't. I'll tell you.
So
that.
I'm excited to see what happens. But my thing is, I don't expect to see a very Joker-ish Joker from him. I expect to see something weird.
I want something different.
I do want something different, but my thing is, well, usually when I think of comic book movies and stuff based on a book or a comic, is I'm not seeing the character from the comics. I'm seeing an entirely different thing. Mm-hmm. Like, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is not the Joker. He's a different character. I want to see what that character is, but he's not the Joker.
I like that.
And I'm excited to see it. Like, I really want to see it, and I want to go in not thinking about Heath Ledger, not thinking about Jared Leto, not thinking about, what's his name, Cesar Romero, the old Batman. I think that's his name.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to there's a comic book artist named Ramon Villalobos.
Yeah,
and on Twitter after that trailer dropped, he was listing off his top Jokers of all time, and his number one was Edward James Olmos, and he was referring to his character in Zoot Suit.
Oh my god. The best Joker. And you know what?
Dude,
we should do that.
If you go back and watch Zoot Suit,
yeah,
that's a very Joker portrayal.
You know what? We should do that. Next time we should talk about who we think could play a really cool Joker.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Because I thought of one, and I don't think anybody would agree with me, but I think it would be really, really cool to watch.
There's everyone that thinks, what's the name? Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe would be fun, but he's always creepy. Like,
yeah,
you could just look at a picture of him and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi.
Ooh.
That'd be a weird Joker.
I want to see him as,
but he'd look the part.
You know who?
Cedric. Oh, shoot. Cedric the Entertainer.
You know who I would actually want Steve Buscemi to play?
Yeah.
Clayface. The Russian actor that's, you know...
I would want to see that.
His face already has that, like it's peeling.
I just want to see Steve Buscemi do stuff. He's always fun to watch.
What was that? I haven't watched it. It's a show. I don't even know if it's out yet.
Yeah.
Where he plays God with what's his name? Daniel Radcliffe gets hired in heaven, and they're supposed to like answer all these people's prayers.
No idea what you're talking
and
about.
God doesn't want to like work.
That sounds funny, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's I'd only ever seen commercials or previews for it going to the movies. I'd never seen anything advertised on TV.
That's weird.
I think why just a lot of time I just
Oh
don't
my
really watch
goodness.
TV, though,
I just remembered. They're having every year they have Ghibli Fest.
have what?
Ghibli Fest, Studio Ghibli.
Oh yeah.
At what's that? The Edwards.
Oh, okay.
All the like Regal ones. I actually forgot to go on Monday. They had Howl's Moving Castle.
Do they show one like every week?
They show it. They usually go one day. It'll be the subbed.
Oh, okay.
Another one will be the dubbed. No, two of the showings are dubbed, and then one is subbed.
Oh, that's
so if you
cool.
want to get like the legit Japanese experience,
the experience. Yeah.
you can go. I usually go for those because I just enjoy those. Like I can read, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I totally forgot to watch that one. I've seen Howl's Moving Castle, but I just want to watch it in theaters, and I want to watch it again because I don't remember.
Dude, I honestly don't think I've like sat down and watched them, and I think it's just because I want to sit down and watch them, and anytime I get a chance to watch them, everyone's just like loud or annoying.
This will be an unpopular opinion, but much like Disney movies, you only need to watch like 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
The rest of them are like it's cool, but they're not the best ones.
One out of 100, where does Ponyo rank?
I actually haven't seen Ponyo.
Oh.
I actually missed that one last year too. But no, there's a few that I need to watch.
Every time I hear that song, Pony by Genuine, I always think of Ponyo.
So dumb. But what were we talking about before this?
My Ponyo. We were talking about the Joker.
The Joker. Oh, one thing I did want to bring up: his laugh. He has a weird little laugh while he's in like a comedy club.
I dug it. That was something that I was like waiting to hear in the trailer.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah.
I don't think that's the laugh though. I think that's just a laugh. I don't think they're gonna throw out the laugh.
I would actually dig that if that isn't,
But again, I would still want to see how they do everything. Now, if the laugh in the trailer is his laugh, I'll say this. I laughed when he laughed because it sounded funny to me. Watching it again, it's a lot more unsettling because it's like, do you know how to laugh? Like something seems wrong with him.
His whole character, like he does look. There looks like there's genuinely something wrong with this guy, and the whole world's against him.
Pretty much. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing the movie, and I don't think I really have much else to say about it. I just want to see what happens, because I don't really see it again like the Joker, the character that I know from the comics and the animated series. I just see it as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, this crazy character that I want to watch.
Yeah. The interesting thing too is that it's its own standalone thing compared to the rest of these.
Yeah.
I feel like they've just given up at this point. Like after Justice League just sucked.
Yeah, I don't know what went through everybody's heads, but it was like, okay.
They just rushed to get that cinematic universe going.
Yeah.
And did you by any chance watch Shazam or
no?
This?
I was just like, no, thank you.
It's actually a really like fun movie, but
I don't like fun movies.
Yeah, they go about like still trying to connect it to these other movies.
It's weird.
And it didn't. That's the thing that didn't.
That's one I wouldn't want connected.
No, and that's the thing. Like, there's like the kids wearing. he's literally like his friend or his family member. He's wearing superhero shirts every day. He has an Aquaman shirt on, like with the his like the A basically that symbol. The next day he's wearing a Wonder Woman shirt, and his backpack is like Man of Steel or Batman or something.
Kid should get beat up.
And it I don't know. It's just it feels weird. Like they're just trying to like, hey, Aquaman's established now. He's been around for a while.
I think things like that feel way more forced, and it's like I don't believe you. Like if he had a Ninja Turtle shirt, okay, that just seems.
I think those
like
movies are on Prime right now.
Really?
I actually just I watched going about Pet Semetary. The directors of the new one made a film. Their first film, it was called Starry Eyes. It's about an actress like a struggling actress who wants to make it big.
Yeah.
And the people she's like auditioning for, it seems like they have some like ulterior motives for her.
The best.
And she ends up going. The whole third act just turns into something else, and it's just over the top crazy. But when it was done, I was looking for something else to watch.
Yeah.
And there's the horror section, the TV section, and then they had the family section. And I saw Secret of the Ooze, and I stopped and paused because of a lot of the times. That's a big problem I have with a lot of these streaming sites.
Yeah.
The little artwork, they don't just use a poster.
They use weird ones sometimes.
They use weird things, and the one that they had, I couldn't tell if it was the movie, like the live action movies, or if it was something that was supposed to be animated, or if it was another one of like the newer movies. So I was staring at it for a good like 30 seconds, like, what the heck is this? Am I gonna click on this to watch it? And it said Secret of the Ooze, and it had the the 90s date on it. So
you clicked on it.
It's the movies, but
oh, nice.
Like, come on, man! Like, put a little, like their little thumbnails need to be something a little.
Every time I think about that movie, I think about like the big turtle thing.
Toka.
You're like the monsters, because obviously, like with the ooze, you get the monsters.
They didn't get we didn't get Rocksteady and Bebop as a kid, but we got Toka and Razor.
Yeah.
I mean, they still kind of rule.
They are cool. I do remember those. For some reason, I remember the part 3 more because I think that's the one we owned. We owned like the first one. We skipped the second one, and then we had the third one.
I only owned the first 2. I think I owned the third one, but it was like left in the distant corner because I just didn't like it.
Now that I think about it, the third one was very like, oh, we're going to play a D&D campaign, but you guys are going to be in Japan, like ancient Japan. I was like...
They go back in time.
Weird.
And another thing
seems like an episode of a show rather than a movie.
They bring back characters from the first movie to play different characters.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's a surprise. I actually don't remember any of that.
I forget the actress who played April.
Yeah.
She's a totally different character in the second movie. They recast her. But in the third movie, they bring her back. And it's like, she's not... I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so I could be wrong. But I don't think she's April O'Neil, like, in the past. But regardless...
It's been so long, I don't remember
like, let's bring back the actress who played April O'Neil to play her when she was younger. Or play a relative of hers in... the ancient days or whatnot.
Yeah, I have no idea because it's been a while, but I don't know how we got on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
The little thumbnail.
Oh yeah. Is there anything you've seen recently that's been good, like on Amazon or Netflix or anything like that? Because it seems like most of the stuff I'll watch is either something recommended or something I actually go to the movies to watch, but I haven't been to the theater in a good while, actually.
I just totally messed up my regarding movies, not really. I have seen that there are some streaming right now that I do want to see.
Yeah.
There's one on Netflix, I believe it's called Mercy Black, and that's another horror movie, obviously. But
obviously,
I watched there's that film Triple Frontier.
Never heard of it.
It's with it's a pretty stacked cast. It's Ben Affleck, Charlie Hunnam, Oscar Isaac, and his name just slipped my mind right now. But
is it on Netflix?
yeah, it's a Netflix original.
Okay.
They're I forgot what they were. They're contractors, or they work for. They're basically mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide that they want to rob this cartel leader.
Yeah.
Go in, kill him, and rob him.
Yeah.
And they take too much damn money for them to like get out of there.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the movies, them essentially behind enemy lines with hella money, trying to get to the ocean.
That sounds funny, actually.
And it's a pretty solid movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's great or like amazing. The soundtrack kind of bugged me because I think it's just sponsored by Metallica, because every other song that plays is a Metallica song.
They're trying to sell sodas.
They're trying to. What was this, Shasta?
Yeah.
I don't think were there ever Shasta commercials anywhere?
I honestly don't think so, but I find it hilarious that.
But regarding movies, no. TV shows, I have watched some stuff. I binged season 3. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show. Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh yeah. I want to watch that.
I watched that. I started another show on Hulu called Pen 15. You know, like it says penis basically.
Oh yeah.
But I mentioned it to you. There are a bunch of there are 2 like 30-plus-year-old actresses who are, I think that I could be just saying the wrong age or thinking something else, but they're full-grown adult women playing 6th graders, I believe. And so they're going about like it's like a teen high, like a they're or not 6th graders. They're freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
And they're going into to high school with all these other kids, but all the other kids are all actual like kids, and they're the only ones that are adults.
Yeah, this is gonna be weird, but it sounds like Twilight, because it's like all the vampires are so old. It's like, why would you go to high school again?
Oh, we need to blend in.
Why not just stay in the forest? That movie was just so, it's bad.
You know which one pissed me off? And I can't believe I even watched that far of it. 50 Shades of Grey. I started watching. I was like, it was on HBO, and I was sitting there like, I'll let it play. I want to see how far I get before this like pissing me off. And so it gets to the point where he's like, "Oh, I need to find you again," and he like tracks her down with her like flip phone, or he tracks her down with his flip phone.
He's a hacker.
He's a hacker with a flip phone. A flip phone, not like not a smartphone.
Yeah.
He used.
He's a phone freak.
He used a T9 to find her. And after that, I was like, nah, dude, this is the point where I turn this off. I lost the feed.
When was that movie set? Why does he have a flip phone?
I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. I turned it off.
I mean, I already didn't want to watch that movie, but now I want to watch it even less.
You're going to want to watch it now.
It's like, I need to see this flip phone. No, I was trying to think of something I've seen recently, but one thing came to mind for some reason. I don't think it was the greatest movie. I did enjoy it, but it was so slow. It's called Black Coat's Daughter. It's on Amazon.
Was that the horror?
Yeah.
Film? Yeah, I watched.
Have you seen it? What did you think about that one?
I liked it, but it was too damn slow for me. I think I need to rewatch it though because
I think that movie did a lot of things right, which I don't think a lot of people would say. I think it was a little slow. I don't think they helped themselves in terms of like intertwining the timeline. I don't think that helped.
No.
But there was a lot of things in that movie that were really creepy. There was a lot of things that I think they did really well. I do think they shot themselves in the foot with using such a small cast, because it really was just like the two girls and then some extra people in like this whole school essentially for like a weekend. And then like two extra people that weren't really part of anything. But I think that did lend itself to that weird, and it had a certain like vibe to it the entire movie. It was very like cloistered, just out away from everyone. I felt alone watching.
You know what the best way I can describe the feeling I got while watching it, but I didn't like it as much as this other movie, was The Witch. Watching it, it made me feel like I was watching a movie like dark, grim, and foreboding.
Yeah, they seem very similar to maybe, and I think that Witch did it a lot better, partly due to the time period it was set.
Yeah. Because
I think one thing I do think about now that you said that is, despite the fact that these two girls were alone in the school, if they wanted, they could just like go to a town if they really, really wanted to. And in The Witch, they were just like out in the middle of nowhere, and they like weren't allowed in the town, weren't they? They were just like forced out.
I think they were. And that's another one.
Well, see, that's another thing though. At least they were cut off from society. These girls were just like, oh, nobody's gonna come to get us. Which, see, that's another thing too. Like all that stuff with like the girls' parents, both of them, I enjoyed that. Yeah. Like their parents didn't want to pick them up, or just forgot, or just there was a lot of different things in there that I really enjoyed, but I think the movie wasn't as well made as it could have been. But I really liked it.
Black Coats, right?
Black Coat's Daughter, yeah.
Derek right now mentioned, he said they were forced out for sure. Derek Lee.
Who was okay? Yeah.
He jumped in the chat right now. So.
What up, Derek? Yeah, no, that I do remember. Which that kind of also ties into the whole separation, the ostracization of them. I don't know if I said it wrong, but I don't care. But no, yeah, they were just like, we're out here and we kind of have to, so we just have to fend for ourselves. And then Black Phillip and all this fun stuff. Black Phillip was like the best.
I'm naming my firstborn son Black
Phillip.
Not Philip, but Black Phillip.
Black Phillip. Oh, what's his name? Black Phillip. It's amazing. But yeah, no, The Witch. That one was really good. That one was a trip. I need to watch that one again. I think it's free on Amazon though.
Yeah, it's on.
Both are. Black Coat's Daughter and The Witch.
Nice.
So, Black Coat's Daughter, Witch, Event Horizon, and which one did we talk about? That's on there.
Pet Semetary.
Pet Semetary is not on there though. No, I was thinking the ones that are on Amazon if they wanted to watch those. On Netflix, I don't know because I don't really have Netflix. So
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I don't think my
Hereditary
working. Hereditary's on there. That's my phone is at 3%. I need to stop using it. But yeah, so if you can, please. Is there any other stuff you wanted to talk about? Or for those in the chat, Derek, Mike, I don't know if Mike's still there, but if you guys had any questions, anything you guys wanted to tell us about the movies we've talked about, any movies you guys have seen recently that y'all think we should see?
Holes.
Who's in that one? Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
I never watched it. I remember reading the book. I didn't watch the movie because I didn't want to.
That's one of those movies like
I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, that's enough. That's all I need.
I think I brought it up to we were actually watching it at Derek's 4 nights ago. That was one of the few movies I can remember where I've read the book and what was in the book was directly on the screen.
Okay.
The only other one I can really say like off the top of my head was No Country for Old Men.
I see. I didn't read that one, but I want to.
Yeah. There's like they literally just take out one scene in the book compared to the movie.
Really?
Yeah. Or yeah. In the movie there's just I can't even talk right now.
In the book?
In the book there's this, you remember the scene where Anton and Llewellyn are they're on the opposite side of the door?
Yeah.
And he shoots out the lock.
Yeah.
And that's when he jumps out the window and takes off.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole scene where they're talking to each other right there in the book.
Really?
And that's the only time any of the characters have an interaction with each other.
That I want to see that now.
And so
that makes me so sad.
So in the movie, they literally never meet. There's never a showdown.
That's true.
Well,
there's the shootout,
there's the shootout, but they actually,
we're talking Anton and Llewellyn.
I just lied right now because they actually do have a conversation over the phone. Remember when Anton's Llewellyn's in the hospital, and he
oh shoot,
it's
I don't remember that.
It's after Llewellyn. Remember when he wakes up with the mariachis singing to him, and Woody Harrelson's character comes and visits him and tells him to give him the money, basically.
Yeah. And that like Anton's character kills Woody Harrelson's and then calls him.
Yeah, I think he's calling Woody Harrelson.
Oh,
and he blows him away right there.
Yeah, that entire scene with Woody Harrelson, I was so sad watching that happen because like
the noise,
not the noise, it was what he was saying. It was like, oh, you don't have to do this, and Anton's like I have to, like what's gonna happen. Yeah. You basically just have to wait for it. I was like, oh, that was just terrifying.
That movie's awesome.
It's such a good movie. I really, that's up there for me. I have like a running top 10 list of movies. That's on there.
Dude.
We have to talk about like a lot of these things, but yeah. Oh my goodness. So many things.
Michael in the chat mentioned that he watched Ed Gein the other day. I don't know where that came from.
Ed Gein?
Ed Gein?
Isn't that a serial killer?
Yeah, serial killer.
Oh, this actually brings up a point. John Wayne Gacy. His clown makeup reminded me of the Joker, but then I looked it up. Like it's not exactly the same. So I was like, oh, I thought they would have like been inspired by one, but no.
I forget what I've seen someone compare it.
Mike said that about Ed Gein?
Yeah, that he had just watched it.
Is it a documentary or is it like a movie?
There's a movie. It stars
What did you watch it on, Mike?
Yeah, I was checking it out right now.
Because I saw one recently listed on Amazon and it was about serial killers, but I don't remember what the movie was called.
There's one right here that I brought up, just called Ed Gein, from 2000, starring, I believe, Steve Railsback. Mm-hmm. Railsback.
Yeah.
I think I have watched that one. Well, obviously, almost 30, almost 10 years ago now. But there was a lot of those. Before the big, everyone's on these serial killer trends right now. I was watching a lot of those on IFC. When IFC actually showed independent films instead of just being called IFC.
Yeah.
there's the Ted Bundy ones that are all coming out right now. Charles Manson. There's a ton of these movies.
You know, Charles Manson came out with music.
Huh?
He's got music.
Charles Manson?
I think it was the one they were watching on another podcast that was like in the background and they were listening to the songs and like critiquing them.
What the hell?
But yeah, no, I didn't hear about any of this. There's like a
those
bunch
are
of
old, like,
movies coming out. Or
there's
what?
what's his name? Not Ted. Who was the one? He dated the boys.
The guy that ate him.
Did he? Eat
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dahmer. What's his name? Played him.
It's weird how we kind of just like all know these guys.
I know.
Oh yeah,
Jeremy Renner played Dahmer.
Oh goodness, I did hear about that.
That
one,
was before Renner was, Hawkeye or anything
Yeah.
big right now.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time I'd ever seen him in anything. Aside from 28 Weeks Later. That was before I had seen him in that. And I think that was when that's when I jumped on that dude's ship. I was like, this guy's going to be something. And he ended up in The Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker. That's the one I remember with him the most.
I think I watched that one maybe about a month ago.
Aside from that movie, this might sound weird to you, but I don't really enjoy watching him.
No?
Not really. I'm not even sure why. The Hurt Locker was good, but aside from that,
he's like the Hulk of just movies.
Yeah.
He'd standalone films like with him, I wouldn't say are like amazing or great, but he does play that awesome like supporting character.
Yeah.
One I want to talk about, we could probably talk about that eventually, like because I feel like that's a whole subgenre on its own. Boston movies, like movies that take place in like the Boston area.
Yeah, I think there's a few genres tied to locations, and that's definitely one.
He comes out in the Town. Do you remember that one that Ben Affleck directed?
I do remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I need to watch that.
That's a great one.
We might. Yeah. You know what? We should probably do that for next time then.
Just find a bunch of Boston.
Ones, because I mean, there's some obvious ones, but I think we can like go a little deeper into this.
There's like movies that are supposed to take place in Boston but are shot in like Toronto.
That's like all of them now, though.
Was it
they're never shot.
Boondock Saints or something like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just forgot about that one completely. Which I think I have both, the first and the second. I know I have the second in my room because I see it all the time.
All Saints Day.
All Saints Day, yeah. I enjoyed it. It's not the best, but I just enjoy it. It is funny to me.
I remember I thought it was so awesome when it came out, and then like I revisited it maybe a couple years back, and that was where I had that opinion like, nah, I can't watch this stuff.
If I watch it again, I'll probably have that same reaction, but from what I remember, I was like, it's not that good, but I enjoy it. Maybe it's just because you had to see everything again, but
yeah, we got to do something like that. Maybe just
yeah, we'll do that next time.
Boston set movies. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Is that it, or were we going to talk about anything else?
I don't know.
I think we pretty much exhausted all the stuff that we had listed on
we like burnt that out in the
title.
first like 30 minutes probably.
Yeah, well, we've been going for a good while, so
we really didn't debunk any black holes, but Sam Neill's been there and done that, so we don't need to talk about him.
Yeah. I might have to watch that again.
No, that's the for sure thing I'm gonna like visit soon. So
we should have talked about movies with black holes in them. But I can only think about two right now.
There's the old Disney movie, The Black Hole.
What?
That's an old Disney movie. It's called The Black Hole. Never seen that one?
No.
A lot of people compare it to like a horror film.
The Black Hole, and like, is it about a black hole?
1979. A research vessel finds a missing ship commanded by a mysterious scientist on the edge of a black hole.
This doesn't sound familiar at all. I might have to watch it.
Dude, this looks so campy. I want to watch it. Anthony Perkins. Holy crap.
That name sounds familiar.
Robert Forster.
That one doesn't.
Ernest Borgnine.
That one does. Yeah, no. We'll probably have to do this one. Should probably get a little more thematic with the next one because this one we could have probably done more with black holes, but
that was
the only ones that come to mind.
That was just today, though. That was what's today? The date that was 4/10.
4/10. Yeah.
That just happened this morning. So
are we gonna have an episode on 4/20?
Easter?
Is that an Easter?
I think that's Easter.
Never mind then.
I'm off that whole weekend, so we can do something.
Oh, okay. That Sunday, I'm not gonna be doing anything because I just go home and cook, and then eat, and then that's it. But
we could probably bust 2 out or something right away. Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, or.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Oh no, I'm supposed to brew on Sunday, the Easter Sunday.
Ooh.
Mango saison coming soon. I totally forgot to make the pacha too. We're gonna have to make a lot of things, but we'll do that for next time. So when are we gonna do it next time?
I won't be free until probably late next Thursday.
Late next Thursday?
Thursday, Friday.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. So basically next week.
Yeah. Late next. Yeah.
Late next week. All right.
Next week, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well then, if that's it, that's it.
That's it, man. I don't got anything else to say.
Yeah. So go over to the Haph-Ast podcast YouTube. Check out the other episodes. Also check out Haph-Ast podcast on Instagram. I think that's just what the ad is.
Yeah.
That's all we have right now. Like we're not trying to go too crazy right now.
I'm hardly promoting it on Twitter, so check that out.
Yeah, I don't use Twitter, so
yeah.
You can find me at Ronin_CRZ on Instagram, and that's about it.
You can find me at The Walking Dead on just about everything: Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I don't know about YouTube. I don't need one. But
yeah.
All
right.
Check us out. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if you want us to talk about something in particular, and we'll probably ignore it. Nah, we'll check it out.
Anyways, bye.
Laters.